Dear students, welcome, and our today's topic is membrane transport, that how the molecules and ions and different type of solutes are transported across a plasma membrane. And we all know that a plasma membrane is made up of phospholipid molecules, and the mid portion or the interior portion of a plasma membrane is hydrophobic, whereas the outer portion is hydrophilic. And based on the type of molecules and ions transported, the membrane functions in what way and what are the roles of proteins in transporting the various types of molecules and ions. As we know that a plasma membrane has to maintain a functional chemical environment of the cell. That is, it have to maintain a functional chemical environment, that all the necessary chemicals and ions and minerals should be transported or should be present within a cell, so that the normal functioning of a cell may be maintained. So there are basically two means for the movement of substances through a membrane. One is the passive transport and another one is the active transport. And as the name indicates, passive transport is that mechanism of transport of ions and solutes in which the energy is not utilized, that is ATP energy is not utilized. And here the two mechanisms are followed, that is simple diffusion that takes place without proteins, and the second one is the facilitated diffusion that takes place with the help of protein. And the inactive transport, the ions and molecules are transported by utilizing the energy of ATP molecules with the help of certain proteins. And here passive transport takes in a non-directional movement of solutes or ions, whereas active transport is a directional movement, because in passive movement the concentration of the ions or molecules will depend or will determine that in which direction the molecules or solutes or ions will be transported, depending on the concentration in which phase or on which side of the plasma membrane has the highest concentration of these molecules, then that area or that plane will decide the movement of direction of the molecules. So in passive transport, the movement of solutes and ions may take place in any direction. That's why it is called passive transport, is a non-directional movement. Whereas active transport, because in it the ATP molecules are used and molecules are or ions are transported towards a certain direction. So this active transport is always a directional movement. So before we begin to start the mechanism of transport across the plasma membrane, there should be some terminology that one should be clear understanding of this terminology, that what is down concentration or downhill movement. Here is represented through this diagram, that these black dots are representing some molecule, some chemical, and here at one phase, at this portion, the chemicals are high in density or high in concentration and are transported towards another direction where their concentration is low. So this type of movement of a molecule or ion or solid from its high concentration area to low concentration area is known as the downhill movement. Whereas on the other hand, here the green dots or green balls represent some molecules in low in concentration and are still transported, as represented by this arrow, towards the area of their high concentration. So these molecules are being transported from their low concentration area to high concentration area, that is against their concentration gradient, and then it is called uphill transport of the molecules or solutes. And the third category is the electrochemical gradient, and it is made up of two terms, that is electro and chemical. In electro represents the electrical charge, and there are two types of charge, plus and negative, and chemical, that is the amount of the solute concentration on the surface, on respective surface of the membrane. So here as represented, that in this plasma membrane diagram, that these green dots are represent some solute, and these solutes are high in concentration. These solutes are high in concentration at one place, one plane of the plasma membrane. Beside this, the more positive charges at one plane, and at the other plane the solute concentration as well as charge is low in amount. So this represents an electrochemical gradient, that is electrical as well as chemical gradient, means there is charge difference across the membrane as well as the chemical concentration difference of the molecule across the membrane. And all these electrochemical gradient as well as these chemical gradient is a potential of energy, is a type of energy for transport of these molecules, and it will come next. So there are various factors affecting simple diffusion of molecule. As we know that the plasma membrane are permeable to water molecules as well as oxygen and carbon dioxide. So how these molecules are transported without the help of any protein, it depends on the various factors such as size, polarity, charge and partition coefficient, and one by one we will understand that. Size is when the molecule is small in size, then its permeability is higher. So that as compared to the so if water is a polar molecule but it is not a charged molecule, so if we take another polar molecule that is greater in size of the water, then the water will be transported, but the other molecule that is polar but large in size will not be preferred for simple diffusion across the membrane. The second one is the polarity, and as we know that cell membrane is more permeable to non-polar molecule and less permeable to small polar molecules such as water. So if the polar molecule is large in size, the plasma membrane will not be permeable for that molecule. And charge, the cell membrane is impermeable to charged molecules and ions without the help of any proteins. So no any ions can transport through simple diffusion across the membrane without the help of a protein. So proteins are needed to transport the ions and large polar molecules across the membrane, and the charge also determines the movement of the ions. And the partition coefficient, that is the ratio of solubility of substance in a non-polar solvent to that in water under conditions where the non-polar solvent and water are mixed together. It means that if we mix both water and another polar solvent together and we dissolve any solute, then that solute will disperse itself in the water as well as in the polar solvent depending on its solubility. So if the solubility of the solute is higher in oil or any non-polar solvent as compared to the water, then that molecule will be preferred more to pass directly across the membrane. And if two molecules have the same partition coefficient, then which molecule will be preferred? That molecule will be preferred that is small in size. Now comes to the passive transport, that is without the help of protein, and simply it takes place through the simple diffusion, that is down the concentration gradient. That as we have already discussed, that these molecules are simply diffusible along the plasma membrane, and their diffusion determines the direction of their concentration. It means if these molecules are present at high concentration at one plane of the plasma membrane, then these molecules will be transported from their high concentration to the area of their low concentration area, and this is a simple diffusion of these molecules. And as we know that the erythrocytes or the red blood cells transports the oxygen from lungs to the various tissues, and it is due to the simple diffusion, because the oxygen has the highest concentration or pressure at the lungs area, and then diffuse easily to the blood cells, and these blood cells are transported when to different cells and tissues. Then the oxygen concentration gets low, and the carbon dioxide concentration increases, as a result of which the carbon dioxide concentration increases, and it binds to the erythrocytes, and oxygen is liberated at those tissues and cells. And the passive transport, that when the proteins are taking place, and it is known as facilitated diffusion, because the proteins provide the facility for diffusion of the proteins. And it is also the down the concentration gradient, that the molecules will be transported down their concentration gradient, but here the proteins are used, unlike the simple diffusion where protein molecules are not used, but in facilitated diffusion protein molecules are utilized. And here various molecules and ions are transported through facilitated diffusion, and molecules such as glucose and ions are transported. So glucose has a transport molecule across the plasma membrane. Simply the sodium and potassium and calcium ions can be transported with the help of a protein down their concentration gradient. But depending on the protein, that what type of ions or molecules will be transported, these two proteins are there: carrier proteins, also known as transporters or permeases, and the channel proteins are simply called ion channels. So carrier proteins and ion channels are the two important proteins taking place in facilitated diffusion or passive transport. As a carrier protein binds one or more solute molecules on one side of the membrane and undergo a conformational change, it is important that these carrier proteins undergo a conformational change. That means their shape changes or their configuration changes, and then transport the molecules to other side of the membrane, as represented by through this picture, that this is a solid molecule is to be transported from this direction to another surface of the plasma membrane, and then this solid molecule binds first to this carrier protein. And as we can see that these carrier protein has certain binding site for these solid molecules, and hence after their binding, these carrier proteins changes in their conformation, and then transport these molecules to the other surface of the plasma membrane, and these molecules are transported down their concentration gradient. It means carrier proteins bind the molecules where their concentration is high, and then transport these molecules towards their low concentration area, and hence it is represented by this diagram, this picture, that state A is when the carrier protein binds the solute, and then it undergoes a conformational change of state B, and then transport the molecule at other surface of the plasma membrane. So this is a carrier protein that undergoes a conformational change. So depending on the type and direction of solutes, the carrier proteins are further divided into three categories: uniport, symport, and antiport. So uniport carrier protein are those transport solute in one direction, as represented by this diagram, that this solute is to be transported and singly from this direction to this direction, from its higher concentration to low concentration area, and no other molecule is transported with this molecule. So this is a uniport. And symport transport that two solutes in one direction. Here we can see that this carrier protein transports these two molecules together in the same direction. And the third one is the antiport, and here the one molecule is transported in one direction and the other molecule is transported opposite the opposite direction, opposite the first molecular direction, and this is called the antipode. And here we can see that symport and antipodes are together known as coupled transport. It means if both the molecule, if this yellow molecule is to be transported from this area to this area, then it is only possible that if this molecule is present. That if this molecule is not to be transported, then the transportation of this molecule will not take place. Similarly, in this case anti-transport. So from where the energy comes for transport of this molecule is either their concentration gradient or the concentration gradient of another supporting molecule. So here in this case, any molecule may be a coupled molecule, and one molecule is transported against their concentration gradient, whereas another molecule is transported down their concentration gradient, and this concentration gradient energy is used to transport the molecule. And here it is important that in coupled transport, one solute is transported through utilizing the energy stored in the electrochemical gradient of the other solute. And these carrier proteins, when utilizing the ATP energy, are known as the active transport. As we can see here, when the coupled solute or ion is again transported back utilizing the ATP so as to maintain a concentration gradient, then it is called indirect active transport or secondary active transport. So how we can understand it? Suppose here, if this molecule is to be transported with this yellow molecule, so the movement of this yellow molecule may take place, but to maintain the continuous supply of this yellow molecule down its concentration gradient or against its concentration gradient, this molecule, this blue square is molecule is required, and to maintain the continuous supply, this molecule is further need to be transported at other surface of the membrane, and that transport takes place with the help of ATP. So the carrier proteins may take place in passive diffusion as well as in active diffusion. So the channel proteins or ion channels are further the passive transport, and these proteins takes part in the transport of various types of ions such as potassium, calcium and sodium, and different type of proteins are for different type of ions to be transported, and these channel proteins are simply called ion channels, and these proteins form a hydrophilic channel through which the molecules or through which these ions can be transported from their high concentration area to their low concentration area. And these proteins do not undergo for major conformational changes unlike the carrier proteins. And this was the passive transport. Now the active transport. And in active transport, the as we see that it is first of all it is utilizing the ATP energy, and it is mediated through the protein. So in the active transport, the solutes or ions are transported against their concentration gradient through using the energy of ATP molecules. So if any molecule is to be transported from its low concentration to its high concentration area, that is against its concentration gradient, then certainly energy should be invested. So cells maintain a non-equilibrium intracellular concentration. Non-equilibrium, it means that if the cell has high sodium and low potassium outside, it means if the cell has high sodium inside and low sodium outside, that and the cell maintains this non-equilibrium through using the energy of ATP. So this is a non-equilibrium intracellular condition. The cells has to maintain a non-equilibrium. It means high concentration or low concentration of any ions depending on its need in the cell, and it is used through the using the ATP energy, and here the direct ATP energy is used, so it is called the primary active transport or direct active transport of the ions or molecules. So we can See here, the membrane proteins involved in active transport are often called pumps. Simply they are known as pumps. And unlike facilitated diffusion, the active transport is a unidirectional process. Unidirectional process because here the intentionally the ions are transported against their concentration gradient through using the energy of ATP. So it is always a unidirectional process or directional process, and the transport proteins drive by ATP hydrolysis are called transport ATPases or simply ATPase pumps. The plasma membrane sodium potassium pump is an ATPase, and as we can see here the diagram of a sodium potassium pump, and we can see that here the sodium concentration is high and at the other phase the sodium concentration is low. Whereas similarly the opposite is the case for potassium. At other side the potassium concentration is high and the potassium concentration at opposite direction is low. So we can see that this is a reverse situation for both the ions, that where the place where the sodium ion concentration is low, here the potassium ion concentration is high. So these molecules are transported against their concentration gradient. We can see that here where the sodium ion concentration is low, still these sodiums are transported out the cell and towards their high concentration area, and similarly the potassiums are transported from their low concentration to high concentration area, that is inside the cell where the concentration of potassium is already high. So the movement of these ions takes place against their concentration gradient, and it is not possible without the utilization of ATP energy. That's why this is called a direct active transport. Here the ions are to be transported against their concentration gradient through using the energy of ATP molecules. So here we can see that this chart shows major types of ATPase pump, and here 4 types of ATP pumps are important. P type ATPase known as P for phosphorylation, V for vacuole, and F for factor, and ABC that is a antibody ATP binding cassettes. And here as we can see that P type ATPase, the kind of membrane is present, these are present in plasma membrane and are animals found in or present in animals. So what is the role of this sodium potassium pump? That it keeps low sodium and high potassium ion within the cell so as to maintain the membrane potential. Similarly, the hydrogen ion gradient is made up by these P type ATPases in plasma membranes of plasma plants and fungi, and these pumps proton out of cell and generates a membrane potential. Similarly, the calcium 2 positive ions in case of animals and in muscles of animal cells, and these calcium ions are transported, pumps calcium 2 positive into SR, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum, so as to keep the low calcium ion concentration in cytosol. Similarly, the V type ATPases or V for vacuole, here we know that lysosomes are the vesicles having the digestive enzymes. So to maintain the low pH, or it means to maintain the enzymes present in the lysosomes, the hydrogen ions should be transported within the lysosomes and is present in animals. So it keeps pH in organelle low, which activates hydrolytic enzymes. Similarly, the hydrogen ion gradient is maintained by the V type ATPase in vacuolar membrane of the plants and fungi, and it keeps pH in vacuole low, which activates the hydrolytic enzymes. The F type ATPases or F for factor, also called ATP synthase, and as we know that in plants during photosynthesis the ATP formation takes place, and here the hydrogen ion gradient, energy of hydrogen ion gradient is used, and these hydrogen ions are transported down their concentration gradient, that is from the mid membrane of the chloroplast towards the chloroplast grana, and here the hydrogen ion gradients that drive the ATP synthesis. Similarly, in prokaryotes, the hydrogen ion gradient is maintained by plasma membrane in prokaryotes and generates the hydrogen ion gradient that drives the ATP synthesis. And in case of eukaryotes, we know that mitochondria are the energy means powerhouse of the cell, and the mitochondria generates their energy through this hydrogen ion gradient, that the hydrogen ions are transported from intermitochondrial membranes to the mitochondrial matrix, and thus the synthesis of ATP takes place. And the ABC type of ATPase is that is ATP binding acids, and these type of ATPase binds or transport a number of different type of solutes, and found in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and nutrient uptake, protein export, possibly also transport into and out of organelles, and antitumoral drugs in plasma membranes of animals, tumor cells, and removes hydrophobic drugs and hydrophobic natural products from the cell. So all these four type of ATPases, you can understand it and you can make a chart, and where these type of ATPases or these pumps are being used. So thank you very much.